What's up, Think International? Jeff Morse here at the NACC. I'm with Todd Clark of Discovery Church in Simi Valley, California. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, man?
Super good. Now, you're a church planner. This has been about 9 years now. How's the church doing?
Church is doing good, man. We're blessed. It's kind of been a up and down 9 years, but man, I wouldn't trade anything. We've moved from a movie theater to a school to our own facility, and man, I'm thankful. I'm blessed. It's been an incredible journey.
No kidding. What are some of the struggles, not to necessarily just focus on the struggles, but the struggles and the overcoming that have taken place over this last 9 years?
Oh, man. There's a lot of things we've had to overcome. I think for me, personally, one of the hardest things I've had to overcome is growing with the church and growing ahead of the church, realizing that I'm kind of the lid for the church, right? And I can't take people where I haven't been. So growing me, not just growing them, is huge. Personally, another challenge has been my role has changed, because it used to be that I knew everybody knew me, everybody could get to me, and now as the church grows, you know, you get an executive pastor and all this kind of stuff, and it's just so easy to be insulated. And I've really had to, it has been hard. I've had to really wrestle with that, because I spend a whole lot more time in leadership with maybe elders and staff than I do with just people who are in our congregation, and that's not how it started out.
Yeah, so that's a rough transition for a lot of leaders, especially when your heart is so much for the people that you lead. Within that, now growing a church, doing all this stuff, you're also a photographer and have another thing going on. Tell me about that.
Well, I have an organization called Eat Art. It's at eat-art.org. And we're an eclectic kind of collection of photographers and painters and designers who are committed to artfully ending hunger. So we have photographs. I photograph waves all the time. I'm kind of an ocean photographer kind of guy, so I like to get out in the waves with my gear and just get rocked. But we have all kinds of people, landscape people. We have lots of designers. We have lots of fashion and apparel. And so it's all online. And we also have Eat Art shows. And basically, you purchase any art or apparel, and then the proceeds, there's no salaries taken, all the proceeds go to feed hungry kids. And we've had it up and running now for just about 9 months, and we've sent almost 240,000 meals so to hungry kids around the world. It's unbelievable.
That's awesome.
It's going crazy.
Some people, this is kind of, it seems like a trend for a lot of pastors are kind of pursuing a pastoral and something else, and a lot of people have issue with that because they say, no, you're a pastor, you need to be a pastor. But do you feel like maybe pursuing your photography, your art and all that stuff has helped you in some way, shape, or form? Or?
Yeah, I think it has. I think you have to be careful with it, right? But before I'm a pastor, I'm a child of God. And He made me creative, and He made me with lots of different gifts and talents, and a pastor is certainly my chief calling. But I'm also many other things. You know, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a photographer, I'm a writer, author, and those sorts of things. And to me, if you took some of those creative expressions from me, like photography or entrepreneurial efforts in business and things like this, then I wouldn't be the pastor I am, because it's not an either or, it's a both and. I mean, I would shrivel up, and I think my congregation understands that, because, you know, a lot of what would cause me to start this or that or Eat Art is the same thing that God put in me to branch out and leave Louisville, Kentucky and move to LA and start a church 9 years ago. So it's a lot of that same seed. I think I just have to be certain that I'm doing it for His kingdom and His glory, and not my own profit or gain, you know. And so I'm always I try to be really careful about that.
But you need to be true to who the Lord has created you to be.
I have to be, or I would shrivel up. You would not want me as your pastor. If you told me that I couldn't pursue who I am and the creative things that God's made me to do, I would not be the alive pastor that I am. I would be half of who I am.
In your opinion, do you think that maybe that's why some pastors do shrivel up? Is because they kind of neglect the other areas in their life?
Sure. I think we all have these other areas. Some of us have different kinds of things that we're creative in or gifted in. But I think if you don't have an outlet besides your ministry, if you don't have a hobby or a passion or something else simultaneously in some ways to pursue, I think, man, the ministry, it never stops. And there needs to be some kind of reprieve to help refresh you, our convention theme, right? Sure. To be refreshed for the daily ministry. And for me, photography, helping feed kids, that sort of thing is refreshing, and it fills me up to continue to minister.
That's great. That's great. Now, your church, if they want to find your church online, Eat Art online, you online.
All right, let me give you the role here. It's discoverychurch.com. Okay. Easy enough. Eat-art.org. Eat-art.org. And I'm just Todd Clark on Twitter.
Perfect.
Easy.
Hey, easy. Hey, thanks so much, Todd. I appreciate it. There you go. Think International, NACC, Eat Art, Discovery Church.